ونزلنا عليك الكتاب تبيانا لكل شيء وهدى ورحمة وبشرى للمسلمين لهم قلوب لا يفقهون بها ولهم أعين لا يبصرون بها ولهم آذان لا يسمعون بها.
Dalam hadis Sahih Bukhari Muslim, Nabi mengatakan, kamu akan melakukan perjanjian damai dengan Rum. Rum dalam hal ini, para ahli hadis kontemporer mengatakan Amerika dan Eropa. Kamu akan diajak berdamai oleh mereka lalu bersatu, dan kamu akan memerangi musuh bersama. Bagi Amerika musuh bersama itu Rusia. Bagi Eropa ya, musuh bersama itu adalah Rusia, Cina, Iran, India dan sebagainya. Apalagi blok kekufuran, blok komunis ini sekarang sedang semakin mengkristal persatuan mereka, ya kan? Dan Barat tidak melihat ada peluang untuk mencari keuntungan bersama dengan blok timur ini, kecuali bersama dengan kelompok Ahlus Sunnah wal Jamaah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Nama saya Hanif dari Cimahi. Ingin bertanya Ustaz mengenai, saya pernah membaca sebuah tulisan bahwa ketika nanti di akhir zaman umat muslim akan bekerja sama dengan kaum Romawi. Ada tulisan yang berpendapat bahwa yang dimaksud dengan Romawi ini Romawi Timur, yaitu Rusia dan sekutunya. Apakah itu benar ataukah memang yang dimaksud adalah Romawi Barat, yaitu Eropa dan Amerika?
Allah. Ini saudaraku, yang pertama, Romawi itu di akhir zaman yang dimaksud dengan Romawi adalah Romawi belahan barat. Ya, karena Vatikan ada di sana. Vatikan ada di sana. Vatikan itu adalah blok barat, masuk dalam bab Eropa, Amerika. Maka ulama-ulama Ahlus Sunnah wal Jamaah kontemporer sangat bulat keyakinan mereka yang dimaksud dengan Rum dalam hadis di akhir zaman atau Romawi adalah Amerika dan Eropa hari ini.
Наш президент говорил о том, что вы поддерживаете там злого человека. Он говорил об Асаде. Вы верите в это?
Во что? В том, что Асад злой человек?
Да.
Мы защищаем там не столько президента Асада, сколько сирийскую государственность. Мы не хотим, чтобы на территории Сирии возникла ситуация, сопоставимая с Ливией или с Сомали, или с Афганистаном, где НАТО присутствует уже в течение многих лет, а ситуация к лучшему не меняется. Асад совершил ошибки? Да, наверное, немало. А те люди, которые ему противостоят, они что, ангелы, что ли? Это кто там людей убивает, детей казнит? Кто голову отрезает? Это что, люди, которых мы должны поддержать? Вы знаете, что мы с нашими коллегами американскими просто до посинения спорили по поводу того, наносить удары по каким-то территориям или нет. Нет, туда нельзя. Почему? А там здоровая часть оппозиции. Но мы говорим, ну там же еще и ИГИЛ, и Джабхат ан-Нусра. Да, но там все перемешано так, что не понять, кто где находится. Ну разъедините их тогда. Что приличные, порядочные люди делают вместе с террористами? Вы их контролируете? Пусть уйдут. Пусть дадут нам возможность бороться с террористами. Нет, не трогайте. Почему это? Ждать, пока они к нам приедут или к вам, мы не будем. По поводу людей, которые были убиты, значит, пострадали от применения оружия, в том числе химического оружия. Это ложная информация. Мы, на сегодняшний день мы абсолютно убеждены, что это просто провокация. Асад этого оружия не применял, и все это было сделано людьми, которые хотели его в этом обвинить.
About a hadith which speak about a betrayal by Rum and a big clash with us, between us and Rum and so on in a hadith. You have to start with the Qur'an. And when you start with the Qur'an, you start with Surah Rum. And when you start with Surah Rum and Allah says, shall I take another 1 hour with this subject that I've lectured on so many times, and you've listened to the lectures, it goes in through one ear and it goes out through the other ear. Ghulibatir Rum, ba'da'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Rum has been defeated, and there is absolutely no two answers to the question of who is Rum. The answer of who is Rum must be answered by the Qur'an, not by the Hadith. If you want to go to the Hadith for the definition of Rum, you are a dum-dum. Go find another teacher. The answer to the question, who is Rum, must come from the Qur'an. And when you go to the Qur'an, there's only one answer. It's the Byzantine or the Christian Empire. And Allah says that He intervened to help them. He intervened. Binasrillah. Allah intervened to help a Christian people. Did you hear that? Or is it too difficult for your skull to accept that Allah can intervene to help a Christian people? They had the same beliefs at that time as they have now, the Orthodox Christians. They worship Jesus, Nabi Isa alayhi salam at that time. They had the Trinity and all of these things they had at that time. And Allah intervened to help them, binasrillah. And they were able to defeat their enemies, the Persian Empire. And then having defeated them, Allah then subhanahu wa ta'ala then went on to say, min qabl wa min ba'd. وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. They were able to be victorious by Allah's help, binasrillah, on 2 occasions, twice. And on both occasions, the believers would be rejoicing and celebrating the victory of a Christian people. The first one was already mentioned. And it occurred in the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ. And so there is a second victory of Rum which is to come. And when that victory of Rum comes, it will be on the basis of help which comes from Allah binasrillah. And when that victory comes, it will be a time for Muslims to celebrate. If that is uncomfortable for you, you can't stomach it, you cannot stomach the Qur'an, what can I do for you? You want to cross swords with me, come to the Qur'an. Let us talk on the Qur'an. If I am wrong on my explanation of the Qur'an, come and tell me what's the right thing. So there is a second victory of Rome that's coming. That's what the Qur'an tells us. And Rome is a Christian people. Rome was divided into two parts after the death of the Prophet ﷺ. There was one part of Rome which continued to follow Nabi Isa ﷺ. And we know how you can recognize them that they were still following Nabi Muhammad ﷺ, because they do not allow a man to marry another man and get a marriage certificate. And another part of Rome broke away and formed Western Christianity, and we know that these are the ones who committed the kufr. A man can marry another man and get a marriage certificate there. So you now have two Romes. This is history. And Allah says in the Qur'an, when He spoke about the crucifixion, the attempt to crucify Nabi Isa alayhi salam, which is my subject on Friday night, inshallah, Yawmul Jum'ah. وَإِذْ قَالَ اللَّهُ يَا عِيسَى إِنِّي مُتَوَفِّيكَ وَرَافِعُكَ إِلَيَّ. O Jesus, Nabi Isa alayhi salam, I'm going to take your soul, your nafs and your ruh. وَرَافِعُكَ إِلَيَّ, and I'm going to raise you unto myself. إِلَيَّ وَمُطَهِّرُكَ مِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, and I'm going to purify you of all that mud that they threw against you, those people who committed kufr, who rejected you as the Messiah, who declared that your mother committed sin, and those who support those rejections. These are the people to be cleansed. وَجَعِلُ الَّذِينَ تَبَعُوكَ, and I am going to cause those who follow you, that part of the Christian world which follows you, فَوْقَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, I will cause you to become ascendant and dominant over the other part of the Christian world which is in kufr. إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ, and when that takes place, it will continue until Judgment Day. That has not taken place as yet. That ascendancy of one part of the Christian world which is following Nabi Isa alayhi salam, where a man cannot marry a man and get a marriage certificate, over the other part of the Christian world where a man can marry another man and get a marriage certificate, that ascendancy or dominance of this part over that part has not as yet taken place. It is now taking place. And when it takes place, it will continue. NATO can do what you want. You cannot stop it. Once Allah causes this part of the Christian world to be raised in eminence and dominance over that part of the Christian world, it will continue until the end of the world. If you can't stomach the Qur'an, what can I do for you? And so it is from the Qur'an that you must first go and get guidance. Allah speaks in the Qur'an to the Qur'an to study the subject and then assess the Hadith. Allah speaks in the Qur'an about a Christian people who will be closest in love and affection for you. And He gives the description, and I've 10,000 times I've already explained that verse of the Qur'an. But it goes into one ear and it comes out the other ear. Yes. Who are those Christians? I say they are the Orthodox Christians, but you respond and say, they have killed 10,000 babies in Syria, and they're raping all the Christian women, all the women of Syria, and so on, and all that garbage that came out of a garbage bin, and it should go back into the garbage bin. That's all the rubbish that you have to be throwing at me when I come with the Qur'an. When I come to the Qur'an, don't come with rubbish. When I come with the Qur'an, respond with the Qur'an. And let us understand and seek, what does the Qur'an say? These are the people, the Orthodox Christian world. that Allah has spoken of in the Qur'an, and Russia is the leader of this Orthodox Christian world. But no, you might say it's not Russia, it's Washington. That's your thinking. Russia is the leader of the Orthodox Christian world. And it is that Orthodox Christian world that Allah has said in the Qur'an are going to be closest in love and affection for you. But you don't want to hear that. It's sticking in your throats. You don't want to hear that. And Allah has spoken about another Christian people. And He has said about those Christian people who make an alliance with the Jews, don't take them as your friends and allies. Because if you take them as your friends and allies, you're no longer a Muslim. You join them. So when you go to the Hadith and you find a room in the Hadith which now launches war on the Muslim because one Muslim got up and one Christian got up and said that the cross is victorious, and a Muslim comes and kills him and says, no, Allah is victorious. And then the whole Christian army turns on the Muslim army and fights and kills the Muslim armies and so on. How do you assess this nonsense? If it is a valid hadith, then how do you assess it? If it is a fabrication, it's nonsense. It could not be the room of the Qur'an. And I am talking about the room of the Qur'an. I'm not talking about any other room. The hadith is either in conflict. This part of the hadith is either in conflict with the Qur'an, because in the Qur'an, Rome is not our enemy. Rome will not behave in this way. Now, so this part of the hadith could be a fabrication. And if it is a Sahih hadith, and if it is a valid hadith, then this is another room that the Prophet is speaking about. It could not be the room of the Qur'an. So what do you do when there is a conflict between the room with the hadith and the Qur'an? Number one, you stay with the Qur'an. And if this is not the room of the Qur'an, there is another room, you have to identify who are these that Allah's Messenger is speaking of as room. Who will fight against us? We have an alliance with them, and then they will fight against us. They will betray that alliance. It could not be the room of the Qur'an. I am speaking about room of the Qur'an. So if you want to be critical of me, you have to come to show I am wrong in my explanation of the Qur'an. If I am right in the explanation of the Qur'an about an alliance with Rome, then you'll have to accept that the room of this hadith cannot be the room of the Qur'an, and I should not have had to spend 15-20 minutes to explain that to you. Frankly, I'm disappointed.